Hello, welcome back to one of my monologues. Today, as you can see, I'm out in the woods. I'm up in a place just north, well, hang on a minute, never eat shredded wheat, west of Stenning really, up on the South Downs near a place called Chantonbury Ring. The sun has been shining today and we've been out here filming for a number of our channels. And I thought, well, it's a golden opportunity to film today's monologue, although I'm actually filming it the day before it goes out, in the woods, and a chance to smoke my pipe. Now, if you are interested, on the other channel, my Vogue Show channel, you'll see me smoking a different pipe. This one is a pipe that was given to me by one of my viewers, very kind, called Albert. And it's a Peterson's pipe, but we smoke different pipes in the other video. Now, you might not be into smoking, so, you know, forgive me for indulging here. But it's a bit windy today. I thought I'd take this opportunity to get back into nature. This is something that Julia and I desperately want to do. We watch a fella who's renovating a house up in Shropshire, slowly but surely, in a patch of landscape, lots of trees, and we're interested in something a little, well, in an ideal world, something a bit bigger, a farm where we could have some animals and be as self-sufficient as we can. We'd also like to be with a community, but not hugger-mugger. I mean, I've made this sort of fairly clear in the videos in the past, but where you've identified other people who are doing things. So if we had a couple of dairy cows, for example, Guernseys, if take our fancy, we might milk those. Somebody else perhaps has got pigs and would, you know, exchange it for pork, sausages and burgers and, you know, whatever. And somebody else might be growing vegetables, we'd be growing our own, perhaps somebody's got herbs, all that sort of thing. So you'd identify, and you end up with effectively a community of people, but not necessarily all together. I think there's something about being as self-sufficient as you can be, and yet helping one another who is within a mile or so that you could travel. Now, in an ideal world, as I've mentioned this before, the plan would be to have, say, 500 acres on a farm. And if there's any farmers watching, I don't suppose there are, but if there's any farmers watching, you know, I think this is a way for going forward to get you out of some of the holes that you may be in terms of the pressure DEFRA and the government throw on you. And that is to create almost another realm, a bit like the Amish do, and a much more natural back to the land world in which you work the land with a number of people, but you are autonomous, that you do your own thing and you help each other, but you're not in each other's pockets. There are a number of these kind of commune type situations where everyone's a bit probably too close together. And one of the problems I think that we have is that we're all coming mostly from the towns. We have that connection, we feel it from our ancestors, that connection to the land, to being back in nature again. And we feel that it's important to have that resonance from the earth. Sorry about the wind, I don't know if you can hear the wind. It's suddenly got very loud. But it's having that connection with the earth. But of course, the problem is egos. People want to do it this way, people want to do it that way. Farming by committee is never a good thing. And so I think there is a sort of a middle way that you could be in charge of what you do, others are in charge of what they do, but you kind of rely on all of you as a sort of agrarian community, if you like. The wind has got up. I hope that's not going to mean that a bough is going to snap and fall on my head. If the weather stays like this and they've stopped their spraying and they've stopped making life miserable, And I dare say at some point that's going to happen, because after all, we've won. And I don't want to focus on the negative things anymore. We know what they're doing, but in order to escape all of that, we need to decide what we want to do with our freedom. It's all very well fighting for freedom. If we don't know what the freedom is for, we'll never get there. And Julia and I have a very clear idea of what our freedom is going to be in an ideal world. And we want to be doing more of that. And so I'm hoping that this year we can get out into this sort of space more frequently and connect, because, you know, take your shoes off, take your socks off, leave your feet on, and, you know, plant them on the ground, feel the Schumann resonance, feel the negative charge combating the positive charge from everything else to improve your health. We've learnt so much over the last couple of years about, you know, the shenanigans, but also a lot of the health benefits, the plants, the medicinal, natural nature of plants, the things that Julia is really working on at the moment, the essential oils and blends, and she wants to be able to offer them to people if they're interested in buying them. She's really a whiz with her essential oils at the moment. And I'm interested in writing, I'm interested in nurturing animals, in growing things, and of course I still love spouting my nonsense, and enthusing people to leave the four walls and the cities and the concrete, the tarmac, the steel, the glass, and, you know, to get back out. And if you look back in my back catalogue, you probably would have noticed that I did something called the Bald Explorer, which was around heritage, nature and landscape, looking at this wonderful place. And we've been filming at some other things, and I said to Julia on the way up, as we walked past the abundance of cow parsley, of campion, of there's still some bluebells just hanging on, and then this wonderful woodland of beech and sycamore and holly and various other trees in here, stinging nettles, ferns, hart's tongue, all sorts of lovely things. I was just saying to her, you know, England is such a beautiful place. This landmass we call Britain is a wonderful place. I'm sure it's wonderful wherever you are. Where, you know, I know you watch from all sorts of different places, and I'm sure that is still wonderful. And although it is being blighted, it's being gobbled up by, you know, nefarious likes. We've just got to concentrate on getting back into it, claiming it, grabbing that soil. There's not much soil here, it's mostly leaves. But the soil, and putting our feet back into it and grabbing it and just reminding, here we are, the lovely Julia's just handed me some soil. She's been operating the camera. The soil up here, you know, this has been ancient woodland for ages. I'm actually on a hillside, so you know that there's been no habitation as such other than animals' habitation. And things have grown, they've died back, they've grown, died back. The soil is just fabulous, which is why it's so verdant and abundant with just everywhere you look. You know, it's trying to capture the sunshine, and it's just so wonderful. I mean, it really is. And that's what we've got to do. We've got to take back the land and not hide ourselves in these little boxes, these tiny little ticky-tacky boxes. So today's video is just, again, another ramble, but focusing on what we want, the things we need, the things that mean something to us. Connecting, growing, surviving and living. I know it's not for everybody. Of course it's not for everybody. There's plenty of people who want to sit in their houses. There's plenty of people who want to drive flash cars. There's plenty of people who want to work for those dead entity corporations and create things which are mass-produced in volume. But there is a number of people, and youngsters, who have yet to realise that they can work with their hands, not just growing, but making things, but bespoke things things of a unique nature which they pour their heart into. You would have seen that we did some copper banging recently, sculpting I think it's called. Julia's just giving me a little laugh there, giggle on the side. And we want to do some leather, you know, we want to do all sorts of bits and stuff where we're involved and we put our soul and effort and energy into creating things, because I think that's what we're here on this planet to do, to be creative, to get something out of it. I don't believe we're here to work on a hamster wheel, to pay governments vast amounts of taxes. I don't think that we're here to be selfish. I think we're here to share and enjoy, as I believe the robots, I think it was in the Hitchhiker's Guide, used to say, share and enjoy, share and enjoy. After all, you're never alone with a rubber duck. Anyway, I'm going to finish smoking my pipe if I can get the wretched thing lit, which I can't. It's too windy. Julia's got a lighter. She's ever ready, is Julia. She is my battery. Ouch. I've just broken her lighter. Thank you for watching. I will see you, no doubt, sat on the sofa or somewhere tomorrow. But until then, take care and thanks again.